Adding soft, organic vocals to your track can really take your music productions to the next level. Whether you're making beats for rappers or cinematic music for TV, having some go-to sample libraries that have got soft, interesting vocal textures, one-shots, phrases, and granular vocal manipulations is, in my opinion, essential for all music producers. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down 7 brand new vocal libraries that cover some really interesting sounds, and 2 of them are completely free and super unique and interesting, so do stick around to hear about them. So for now, I'm going to dive in and check out the first VST. So the first plugin is a fresh library from XI Audio called Bloom Vocal Ether, and it's got some fantastic vocal sounds in there. It's similar in sort of functionality to Arcade by Output, but there's some great sounds, phrases, pads, sort of more experimental stuff in there as well. There's a lot to dig into, and the interface is really easy to use and intuitive as well. So you've got your key section here, so you can pick the key that you want. So go G minor, and then the white keys are going to trigger some samples. The black keys are going to trigger some effects, so you can pitch it up, pitch it down, change the position of it. And then you've got double time and half time. There's just some nice effects to have there on the black keys, and then you've got your sort of like saturation, warmth dial speaker, so you can sort of place it in a room. Your doubler. And your ethereal sort of reverb setting. Now you can randomize the samples with this button. Hold up. Hold up. And then if you click edit, you've got all the sort of manipulation of the samples as well. So as you click a new note, it'll bring you the next sample. You can change where it starts. And adjust some of the ways that the sample is played, as well as adding effects to individual samples. So you can create your own interesting sort of patches, save them, and it's just super adjustable. Great tool to use. So there's loads of stuff you can pick in the presets. Your basic sort of one-shot sounds, your drone stuff, which is the stuff that I really love using. More experimental things, lead phrases, and some more like rhythmic stuff, amongst other stuff. So yeah, loads to choose from, experiment with. I've already used this quite a lot in a few tracks. It's super easy to use, and it's got a great array of sounds, so would definitely recommend checking this one out. That's Bloom Vocal Ether by XI Audio. Would highly recommend checking this one out. On to the next one. But quickly before I break down the next plugin, it feels like every time I log into DistroKid at the minute, they've got a new feature to talk about. So I'm just going to quickly talk about this week's sponsor, who is DistroKid. So if you've not heard of DistroKid, they're a distributor, so they take your music and they put it on sites like Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, Deezer, etc. If you click the link in the description down below, you'll get 7% off your first year. They take a 0% cut in your royalties, and you pay a fixed annual membership, which is a fantastic model because it means that you as the artist get the most money back when your music and tracks do well. And today I wanted to talk about a few of their security features, which I think are game-changing in the distribution landscape. So if you click up here and go to protect your music, there's a few things that you can use to really make sure that your music and copyrights are safe. One that I've just discovered is the Page Defender. A lot of people in the lo-fi scene will have experience with this, where people upload music to their profiles, trying to get some of their attention and some of their streams. With Page Defender now, this is going to make it a lot easier to detect that, make sure that people aren't changing things without your knowing, and make sure that you can monitor your Apple and Spotify artist pages. They also have another feature, which is called the Distro Lock, where you can upload your tracks and essentially locks it so other people now can't take it and upload it to Spotify without your prior approval. So this is one, again, is super essential, and DistroKid is sort of leading the way in protecting your music in this way. So if you want to find out a bit more, then you can click the link down below, and it'll also get you 7% off your first year at DistroKid. So big thanks to DistroKid for sponsoring this video. On to the next plugin. So plugin number 2 is called Aria Vocalscapes by Sonora Cinematic. This one is more focused on the sort of pad sounds, more interesting layering sounds, I suppose, and it's got some beautiful sound design built in. This is a Crickets patch. Just beautiful sounds in this one. So the way it works is you've got 2 sort of curated samples or layers, layer A and layer B. You can modulate it within the plugin to sort of move between layer A and B, or you can add your own LFOs and stuff to do that as well. You've got the filters and LFO section for each layer, so you can control the filtering, etc. And then you've got the effects section as well, where you can add different effects to different slots. They've got some great delays, modulations, etc. And adjust the saturations, the send, the filtering, and all that stuff. And then you can control what's in layer B. So you've got your sort of R's and O's and all that stuff, and more granular experimental sounds. Or you can go through the array of really nice curated patches, like minor clouds here. So you can see the LFOs move in the position between B and A. Let's go clouds, always so fragile. See what this one sounds like. There's a lot of movement, a lot of organic texture, sort of granular feel to a lot of these. Sort of intrinsically cinematic and just really interesting, beautiful, soft sounds. So I'm loving this one again. I've not had this one long, but I've used it quite a lot already in most tracks that I've been making recently. Would highly recommend checking it out. That's Aria Vocalscapes. You don't need the full version of Contact. It runs on the free version, so don't worry about that. You just need to buy this and you're good to go. But yeah, it's a beautiful patch. Would recommend checking it out massively. So if you're a fan of like Bon Iver, Ben Howard, the sort of folky sound, you're going to love this plugin. It's called Hearth and Hollow, and it's a Spitfire Audio sort of piano book collaboration, I believe. And it's got some beautiful folky vocals and a really interesting interface to play them with. So let's get off this preset section and go to the arrangement view. You can see here we've got these 4 different vocal patches: Willow, Juniper, Thorn, and Forest. And you can change what they're doing. So you've got these R's and the O's within here. So we'll have the sustains, R's, or you've got BPM relevant stuff as well. And what you can do is you can move them in the space. So you can move them sort of towards or away from the mic, and you can move them in the stereo field. So just to demo that, I'll pick Willow and we'll play this. You can move it closer to the mic, further away from the mic, in the stereo space. So you can adjust the intensity of the vocals if you want it to be super soft, and we'll increase the volume here as well. That's a bit more gentle and soft. And you can add in more of these patches. And you can individually control what they're playing. So we go more R's, more U's, etc. Get them all in there. And I've got this beautiful bleed control as well, so you can adjust that, and it adjusts the lighting in the room from this, quite dry, to this sort of wide, really organic sounding vocal. Fantastic plugin. Would highly recommend checking it out. Again, it works on the free version of Contact, so you don't need to get the full version if you've not got it. You just need to buy the plugin from Spitfire Audio. So yeah, that's plugin number 3. Plugin number 4 is another one from Spitfire Audio. It's from their sort of budget range, and it's one that I talked about when it first came out, but I just had so much use out of it, I had to drop it in this video. It's the Your Ear Elzar Glotman Speculative Memories plugin, and it's got an array of things in there, not just vocals, but the vocals are the key area for this plugin. So the first one that you get is this closed mouth, which is one that you've probably seen me use quite a lot in different videos. Lovely vocal pad. You can adjust the dynamics and the intensity here, and you've got random start, reamp options. You can adjust the attack and the release, and add some delay. Plus you've got the usual sort of Spitfire reverbs and the usual Spitfire interface, so you can adjust the panning, the tuning, the volume, etc. And there's just some really interesting vocal pads and some more experimental stuff. I love this whisper tone. Got a sort of like Billie Eilish vibe, I guess. This one's just a cheap, cheerful, super interesting plugin that I've got a lot of use out of, so I had to include it. Again, there's some more stuff in there as well. I've not really used anything else, to be honest. But you might get use out of it, sort of like granular string stuff. It's all a bit unusual. So lots in there to mess about with. So yeah, lots to delve into on this one. And I also made a really interesting video on some AI tools that are pretty game changing in my opinion recently. You can check that out here as well if you're into more sort of synthy sound design and just general AI efficiency. These are the ones to check out for that. But on to the next vocal plugin. So this next one, depending on what sort of style of production you make, may or may not be of interest to you, but I've had a lot of use out of it since it came out fairly recently. So I thought I'd have to put it in. And if you're into sort of TV music or more orchestral, cinematic music, then it's one that you're going to get a lot of use out of. It's a fantastic high quality plugin. It's also the most expensive on the list, but it's the Eric Whittaker Contrast plugin by Spitfire Audio. So you may recognize it's in the sort of Spitfire Audio engine. You've got various things to adjust. You've got tuning, your panning, volume, etc. up here. You can adjust the different effects, the reverb and the release here. Again, expression and dynamics are here, expression, dynamics. And then you can adjust the individual mic placements and stuff like that as well. Some of the sounds will utilize the sort of major second or minor third, which can be nice because it's hard to sort of replicate that with pads. Even if you're doing pitch shifting, it doesn't quite work. So this is the 2C dark fragments. And if you go on here, there's all sorts in here. I'm really a big fan of the swells. So it's dark, swells, short. So it is very sort of choir cinematic, but there are some really interesting evos in there. You've got the sopranos, the altos, the evos, different dark and light textures. There's a lot to explore, but let's go for some of the evos on the tenor. And then we'll go for dark clouds. And these are the sort of things that I've been getting most use out of. Really high quality sounds. So yeah, that's Eric Whittaker Choir, but now onto some really interesting free plugins. So love him or hate him, this next one is by Jacob Collier, and it's his free contact-based audience choir. It is a really interesting plugin, and it's great that it's free. Again, it's super cinematic. It's obviously a big crowd choir, but you can get some interesting sounds and textures from it. So again, you've got this sort of box where you can shift between samples. So you can definitely get some interesting effects with LFOs as well. You've got the timbre, giving it a sort of muffled sound, delay, reverb, stereo widths, and you've got attack and release as well. So it's sort of like a wash of sound, but it is really interesting. And if you sort of add effects to it, give it like more of a choppy feel, it can be a nice texture and beats as well. But it's worth checking out. It is free and you might get some use out of it. That's plugin number 6. On to the very interesting and final plugin number 7. So the last one is one of the free packs from Piano Book. It's one called Marie Nemuna, maybe. So this is what it sounds like. You can tweak it between alone and together. So alone, where you only have one note at a time, and the sort of portamento is quite present. Or together, which works nicer in my opinion. And that one sort of blends all of the sound together. So if you get some nice reverb on there, you get a super interesting vocal texture. And Piano Book stuff can be a bit hit and miss sometimes, but this is really usable. It does one thing, it does it well. So I would highly recommend checking it out. So yeah, another great freebie. And if you're looking for any more free stuff, I did release a free Foley-esque sample pack a few weeks ago. You can check it out in this video here. I recorded some sounds from the snow and from outside, manipulated them a little bit to get some nice textures, one-shots, etc. Well worth checking out. Would highly recommend doing that if you're after some new Foley sounds for your beats. But that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed the video. Do let me know in the comments down below if there's any vocal plugins that I missed, or if you're a vocalist yourself. Or if you're a vocalist yourself, drop a comment in the comments down below. And if you need some vocalists, check out the comments. You might find some interesting producers and vocalists in there to work with. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you next time.